Welcome back to Old School Sports and our OOTP 22 playthrough of the New York Yankees. We are at the start of the 2030 season, and even for the Yankees, we are in a win now mode. Ownership's goal is for us to win the championship this year, and we are also in the final year of our contract as general manager with the team. So we have gone all in this offseason. Management wanted us to cut the payroll from about 190 million to 180 million by the end of next season, and right now we stand at 254 million. So we are not going to make ownership very happy, but that's fine. We are in the last year of our contract, as I mentioned, and the goal, as always with the Yankees, is to win now. So that is what we are going to focus on. And during the past offseason, made 4 pretty significant free agent acquisitions, signing Jake Cronenworth to play third base, Brian Reynolds to take over in left field. Walker Buehler is a good starting pitcher, although you can see he's out for 4 weeks with back spasms, the only player we have on the injured list, fortunately. And then we brought back our former catcher, Francisco Alvarez. The big loss for the Yankees, and the reason we brought on Reynolds, is that we're unable to, at the end of last season, agree to a contract extension with Aaron Judge, and he went into free agency. You can see right now he is the highest rated free agent still out there. He has not found the market quite as interesting as he would have hoped, unfortunately, for Aaron. We've only got about $6 million left to spend on free agents. Certainly we'll try right now to throw a $6 million a year offer his way. He's looking for 17.6, and he did refuse our $18.9 million offer, our qualifying offer, before he became a free agent. So has not been a good offseason for Mr. Judge, unfortunately. This is probably just going to make him angry, but it is what it is. Yeah, he thinks he can get more money, and he probably can. And obviously, if he does sign with someone at some point, hopefully we will get some draft pick compensation. But we are all in on trying to win this season. If we lose our job in the process by making ownership angry with us, that's fine. The issue with the ownership team is really that they've kind of just had, they've never cut our budget down. Our budget has always been crazy, and you can see that with our $254 million payroll, we still have money left for free agents. But in terms of our goals, they want us to drop it to a $180 million payroll. So a little bit unrealistic, I think. Clearly the owner is focused on extreme profit, so I get that. But realistically, if you would cut our budget back and control the player payroll that way, if you're going to still give us this massive budget, at this point we are going to spend it, because we are all in on trying to win this season. And you can see we are projected right now to go 104-58 to win the AL East. You may remember that last season we were also projected to win the AL East by a large margin, and we ended up only getting a wild card spot after we suffered a number of key injuries. Hopefully the Yankees can stay healthier this year, because we're the only team in baseball at this point predicted to win 104 games. So our goal is to hopefully get back to being division champions. We had won 5 straight division titles before last season, when we obviously did not. And the other big goal for these Yankees is to, once we get into the playoffs, hopefully make a very long postseason run. So we are going to hop into the regular season now, and we'll be reporting back with anything interesting that's going on as we pursue the AL East title and hopefully a World Series championship this fall. And Aaron Judge has finally found a new home. He did sign a 1-year deal with the White Sox for $18.2 million. So good for Judge that he was able to get the money he's looking for. And we will get a supplemental second-round pick from the departure of the longtime Yankee who hit his 400th home run in pinstripes last season. You can see very early stages of the season, but off to a strong start with a 6-1 record so far. Well, as we approach the end of April, Yankees 13-6 in first place, so doing well on the field. Did get some bad news that our pitching acquisition of the offseason, Walker Buehler, still have recurring back spasms, and his return remains uncertain. We're hoping that by about this time he might be ready to start a rehab assignment at AAA, but he's clearly not there yet. Hopefully won't turn into a real long-term issue for him, but kind of knew that there was some risk signing a 35-year-old fragile pitcher. But hopefully we will have him back for the majority of the regular season, and then more importantly, happy, healthy, and strong for the postseason. And we may have jinxed ourselves by talking about healthy, because Lance McCullers Jr. Just went out for 4 to 5 weeks with a strained shoulder. You can see he'd only pitched 4 games so far this year, pitching well to a 2.84 ERA. But McCullers will be joining Walker Buehler on the injured list for a while. We'll go down, take a look at what we have in Scranton Wilkes-Barre right now to see who we might want to bring up. Uricio Castillo, one of our top prospects, although he's actually not rated as one of the top 100 prospects in the game anymore, but he was a scouting discovery way back 7 years ago. Left-hander with, plus stuff, plus control, average movement, 3 solid pitches, still getting better. He would be one potential pitcher to bring up. The other obvious one would be the closer, Jim Marston, who has excellent stuff, pretty good movement, not much control, but also is durable. 23-year-old, was a 5th-round draft pick for us back in 2026. I think we'll give Castillo a chance, bring the rookie up for a little while, see if he can contribute to the pitching staff. Be interesting to see what Scott Leyes does with him, whether he'll go right into the rotation, and he will. So slot in as our number 5 starter. So we'll give the youngster a little opportunity to see what he can do at the major league level while we are down both McCullers and Buehler. And first baseman Ryan Mountcastle's year is now over with a ruptured MCL. Going to be out for 9 to 10 months, so clearly no hope of getting Mountcastle back this season, unfortunately. That'll give an opportunity for Blake Klassen to play a little bit more at first baseman for the left-handed batter, and we'll go back down to Scranton Wilkes-Barre and see what we have available on the farm. Eric Becker or Anthony Volpe, who is out with a scratched cornea right now. So Eric Becker may be the answer, kind of a league average hitter, but can play several defensive positions in the infield. Has been up with us for just a cup of coffee at the end of last season and did fill in a bit as a defensive substitute then. Our minor league, at least at the AAA level, is weaker than it has been in recent years, so we don't have as much flexibility. We've traded a lot of people away as we've gone into all win now mode, and also brought up some youngsters over the years who are no longer in the minors. If you look at player development now, we've slipped back to the 17th ranked system in baseball, unfortunately. We do have 3 top 50 prospects in Gabe Colon, Ruben Mariona, and Victor Mejias, but no other top 100 prospects. So not a ton of real quality depth in the minor leagues, and very top heavy with the 3 top players that we have right now. But we will find a replacement and continue to move on. Hopefully the injuries will slow down as we get into the month of May. You can see playing great, 16-6, but don't want to get too banged up. Well, as we get near the end of May, the Yankees are 31-14, easily in first place. You can see if I could click properly on standings as I intended rather than news and not somehow lock up the game for some reason, that we are out in front by 5.5 games over the Orioles, so playing very well right now. The bad news is that in his third and what we were hoping was going to be final rehab start down in AAA, Walker Buehler suffered a setback with some elbow inflammation. So he is unfortunately going to be headed back to the injured list. Pitched really well, did 14 innings in his 3 starts down there, 0.63 ERA. So we're just about ready to bring him up to make his Yankees debut, but instead Buehler's going back onto the 15-day IL. So unfortunate news there, but obviously the Yankees are playing well with what we have in the regular season right now, and if we can get to the playoffs and have him healthy by that time, that's what we really need. Well, the injury gods continue to play games with the Yankees. Lance McCullers Jr. Pitched excellent in a rehab start in Scranton, and we were going to bring him up immediately. He went 5 1/3 innings. You can see he pitched through 81 pitches in that one rehab start, so he's really ready to go. But at the time we're bringing him up, Bo Bichette has some wrist soreness. 2 weeks recovery time, minimal impact on hitting, but a moderate impact on throwing. We're 34-18 just in the... we're going to be extra cautious and send Bichette to the injured list for a while. We will bring McCullers back into the rotation. Uricio Castillo had pitched decently for us, 2-1 with a 4.11 ERA, 35 strikeouts in 35 innings. But we are going to send him for the time being back down to AAA, let him get a little more seasoning there. And then we will bring up Anthony Volpe, who hopefully will help us get over the next couple of weeks while Bichette is out, as another glove in the field for us. And you can see that Jose Montoya, the youngster, is going to pivot to shortstop for us while Volpe will play second base. Definitely makes sense. You can see Montoya, very strong defensive player. Has been our second baseman thus far this season, and looks like he's got potential Gold Glove potential as a second baseman, and still an above average shortstop. Hitting a little better this season. You can see he's already has more at bats than he had when we brought him up last year, and he's batting close to 260 with an OPS plus of 80. So the youngster, who's going to be turning 24 in about a month and a half, is still contributing. The big question for him is, can he kind of develop from where he is right now, which is kind of a league average type of bat? If he can ultimately add, another 10 or so points in contact, another 15 or so points in home run power, and even potentially improved his eye a little bit, he'll certainly be a plus hitter as a middle infielder with nice defensive ratings, which will be a great asset for our team. Well, I'm glad we made the decision to be conservative with Bo Bichette and place him on the IL, because his sore wrist is not recovering as quickly as possible. So definitely good that we haven't been trying to play him through that injury over the last week or so. Well, we're now in late June, still having a great year, 45-23 record, up by 7 games on the Orioles in the American League East, and up by the Angels for 1 game for the best record in the American League. The Cubs at 50-19 have the best record in baseball so far. But Walker Buehler still is yet to make his Yankees debut, still suffering from elbow inflammation, not healing as fast as expected. Hopefully can get him back in a week or two, so maybe get a couple rehab starts in early July down at AAA, and then hopefully can join the rotation for the last 2.5 months of the regular season. Well, the Yankees have kind of fallen apart in recent weeks since the last time we checked in. You can see we're only 47 and 34 now, and we are 2.5 games behind Baltimore, who is 9 and 1 in their last 10, while we are 2 and 8 in our last 10 with 7 losses in a row. We're still up by 4.5 on the wild card, but clearly the goal this season was not to only win the wild card. So hopefully we can turn things around shortly. We did just get Lance McCullers Jr. back from a second briefer trip to the injured list, although looks like he's got hand soreness now, but only for a day. And Walker Buehler is on a rehab assignment, although it doesn't look like they've pitched him. They pitched him one game in Scranton, but not recently, so he's probably going to be pitching today, it looks like. So we'll see how that game goes, and then we'll think about bringing him up. Hopefully with those two guys back on the pitching staff and Bo Bichette having returned several days ago from his injury, we can kind of get the team moving in the direction that we want, because clearly second place in the AL East is not our intent this season. Just got the mid-year review from ownership. Brad Kreider, excited with the team record. Upset that we haven't upgraded first base. The injury to Mountcastle certainly doesn't help there. We've got a lot of attendance at the games, but he's very upset that we haven't cut payroll. And yes, we are completely ignoring those instructions. So he's worried with our progress and worried about our on and field and front office management. He tells me if things don't start picking up, we may have to make more changes to the head office. So we will see what happens. As I've talked about in previous episodes, I'm not really particularly worried about Mr. Kreider firing me. I think we still have a good chance to win the championship this year, which I'm sure would smooth over any hard feelings about what we're spending. More importantly, have a legendary reputation at this point, and I think there are definitely options open for us. You can see we've made the playoffs 6 consecutive seasons, won the AL East 5 of those 6 years, and do have the one World Series title. Hopefully we'll add to that resume in this 2030 season. The point of this was to play the Yankees when we started taking over for Cashman. I don't think that ownership has the guts to fire me no matter what happens the rest of the season. But we will see. It'll be a good test. Well, after a couple games in AAA, Walker Buehler is set to make his Yankees debut. So we are going to play the day and see how that goes. We won 5-2. Walker Buehler gets the win. Went 6 2/3 innings in his Yankees debut. Only allowed 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. Pitched 95 pitches. Player of the game. So a good debut here for Walker Buehler. Hopefully he will continue to perform well as the Yankees head towards the trade deadline. We'll have to give that some thought as to exactly what we want to do. We do have about $5.6 million available. The obvious position to upgrade, which would potentially help the team and also help management, or actually ownership, in their anger at us, is to upgrade at first base. So let's just take a quick look. We're not going to pull the trigger on anything right now, but looking at all of the, if I can go to the player trade area and look at the trading block. Wow. Vlad Guerrero Jr. and Matt Olson, as well as Michael Bush, Tristan Casas. So a lot of options at first base. Hey, the way we're going this season, bringing in a Guerrero Jr. or a Matt Olson might be the way to go to really bolster this lineup. Wonder what kind of money Vlad is making. $29.8 million. And he still has another season. Would be interesting for the Blue Jays to trade him in division to us, but they are out of it. Last place, 14 out. So didn't think I was going to spend any time on making a trade right now, but knowing that he's out there and he's available, I may have to see if I can pull something together. And since we are all in on this season, I really don't mind if we bang up the minor league system a bit. You can see we have improved to 16th, so up one notch better. And we do now have 5 top 100 prospects as we played a little bit into this 2030 season. So the system is a little stronger than when we checked in at the beginning of the year, which is good because we may have to give up someone to bring on another big bat for our lineup as we try to chase the World Championship this year. Particularly since whoever we pick up, we're going to need to have their current team hang on to a good chunk of their contract. Well, we're at July 29th, and we just completed a relatively minor trade, picking up Michael Busch from the Astros. Can basically only play first base and DH, but a slightly plus left-handed bat for us. Didn't have to give up much at all for him. Just gave up a lowly ranked catcher, Quiribim Alte, for him, who was in the DSL for us. So no major loss there. The Astros just wanted to get his contract off of the books as he's heading into free agency. So small addition. We looked at Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He actually exercised his 10-5 rights to block any trade. So nothing to do there. The other thing that we are thinking about, though, not a ton of talent as far as pitchers available. But our old friend Aaron Judge is actually available after only playing 87 games away from the Yankees. But physically, he is wrecked at this point and kind of an average contact hitter with just slightly above average power. Not going to be bringing Judge back. But looking at the pitchers, have been thinking about potentially bringing on Dylan Cease or Miguel Toribio. Both have enough stamina that they could start for us in a pinch. Definitely not players that we really need. We like our bullpen, and these guys over the course of their career are kind of slightly above average ERA plus for their careers. I think 106 for Cease and 104 for Toribio. So just a little bit better than average pitchers, but would give us a little more depth and a little insurance for the starting rotation if we were to have some injuries down the stretch here. So thinking about bringing in one of them, but I'm not sure what we're going to do. And we've decided we're going to stand pat on the pitchers. If we were to send somebody down or try to waive somebody, it would most likely be Richard Lovelady or Josh Hartle, who are 2 of our 3 only lefties in the on the pitching staff at this point, and there's really no left-handed pitchers available in the trade market that are really worth much of anything. So the thought is that hopefully with Buehler, Edwards, Hackinson, Javier, and McCullers, we've got our top 5 who are all healthy right now. If there were injuries there, the thought is that Benbrook, Hartle, Salas, and Thomas all have enough stamina that they could potentially play for us in a pinch, start for us in a pinch. And then keep in mind we still have Alex McFarland and Grant Holman, who are kind of replacement level players who could start for us at AAA. And then also Uricio Castillo, who was a lefty who was up with us earlier. Kind of mixed results, 5.44 ERA over 9 starts in 2 stints with the team, but he has been better at Scranton, and we would certainly think about bringing him back up. So the acquisition of Busch is really going to be all we do at the trade deadline here, as we hopefully can turn things around in the AL East a little bit. We are 8.5 up for the wild card, but we are now 5 games out for the AL East. So definitely has been a disappointing season, and the Orioles just continue to roll. They took the division from us last year, and they're trying to do the same thing this year. Hopefully, we'll be able to close the gap on them over the last couple months of the season and guarantee ourselves that we will at least have a 5-game series to test ourselves in the postseason with, rather than having to deal with that 1-game playoff. And like clockwork, the day after the trade deadline, Garrett Edwards suffers a partially torn labrum, out for 6 weeks. Just kind of unbelievable how the injuries seem to happen right when there's a point that you can't do anything about them. So not optimal that we didn't add a reliever, but we will bring Castillo back up, see how he can do in another stint with the major league team at this point. Hopefully, he'll be back for the playoffs. 6 weeks puts him back in mid-September. Could start once or twice at Scranton Wilkes-Barre and then still get a game or two with us in the majors. So hopefully it will not be a long-term loss of Garrett Edwards for us. Well, we made it to the month of September, and unfortunately for a second straight year, the division seems like it's gotten away from us. Really kind of sad with the amount that we've devoted into trying to dominate, and the projection that we would be the top team in baseball. But we're up 8 on the wild card, so we're clearly going to be in the playoffs. But the fact that we'll have a 1 game against the Rangers or Indians, most likely, possibly the Rays or the White Sox, is definitely not optimal. Very disappointing, but we'll see how things go down the stretch. Right now, both Garrett Edwards, recovering from that partially torn labrum, which we just got notice is going to take a little longer, is on the IL, and we put Lance McCullers on with a sore elbow just as a precautionary measure. But we can at least expand the roster right now as we are on September 1st. So at this point, the goal is just to keep players healthy for the next month, hopefully set up the rotation, or more accurately have manager Regi Corona set up the rotation to effectively have hopefully a Walker Buehler on the mound for that 1 game playoff when we get to that, and then hopefully we can get past the wild card game and then go on a long run in the playoffs. But we are still about 5 weeks from that happening. And Walker Buehler has now been diagnosed with a dead arm, out for a week. With the, I have a tough time actually with situations like this, because I let the manager make all of the decisions. So it's possible that he would use him even though the roster has been expanded and we've got 14 pitchers up. But I'd prefer to just not put him on the DL for 15 days when he's only going to be out for a week. Hopefully management, or the manager is smart enough to just kind of give him some rest. But we'll see. With Edwards, McCullers Jr., and Buehler all kind of banged up, although McCullers will be healthy shortly. These final stage of the season are going to be interesting, that's for sure. And now a couple days later, Buehler has suffered a setback in his recovery from the dead arm. He hasn't pitched, but we are just going to send him to the injured list for 15 days just to be particularly careful. Unfortunately, we are not going to catch the Orioles in the division. We're down by 10.5 games. But by the same token, we're up by 7.5 games to host the wild card game. So there's no point in taking any unnecessary risk with him. Hopefully we'll have him back to pitch once or twice after he comes off of the injured list. But don't want to risk losing him when our hope is still that we can go on a long postseason run this season. Well, Walker Buehler came back. The AAA season was over, so could not send him on a rehab assignment. Threw 3 pitches and now out with a sore elbow for 2 weeks. So clearly will not have him for the play-in game or the wild card game. But just a little bit disappointing that he has now had 4 different injuries over the course of this first season with us. The most serious was the back spasms at the start of the season, but then elbow inflammation, which also put him out for 5 weeks, the dead arm, and actually now this is his 5th injury that's going to put him back on the injured list. So his first regular season with us, he was 5-1 with a 3.23 ERA, 147 ERA plus. So he pitched well when we had him. The issue is we only got 64 innings out of him, where he was able to put a +1 WAR together. So hopefully we will be able to win the play-in game, and Buehler can still contribute to a long playoff run. But for the time being, he is back on the IL for us as we get close to the end of the regular season. You can see we're now 14 games behind the Orioles, who are just having an excellent year. Best record in the American League and best record in baseball. We're up +7 on the wild card. Still looks like the Rangers are most likely who will be hosting. So hopefully we will be ready for that in a couple of weeks. Well, we're now at the end of the regular season. You can see we lost the AL East, second in the AL East for a second consecutive season to the Orioles, 14 games behind. So very disappointing given the amount of money we poured into this team in the last offseason. We did finish up 7 games for the Rangers for the first wild card, so we will be hosting a 1-game wild card in a couple of days, actually tomorrow. Looking at the roster as we prepare for the off-season, prepare for the postseason. Hopefully the off-season will still be a few weeks away. Mountcastle, who suffered that major injury, is obviously out for the year, and we recently lost utility outfielder Chase DeLauder for 4 weeks. Neither of those is going to cripple us, particularly with the trade that we made for Michael Bush before the trade deadline. Hopefully we'll replace a lot of what Mountcastle would have given us. Walker Buehler with the sore elbow, not going to be available for the wild card game. Hopefully we win that, and then he can contribute in the divisional series and hopefully beyond. Otherwise, Cezo Murakami, injured as he has frequently been during his Yankees career after he came over from Japan, had a rough year for us. You can see a 5.40 ERA, so is not particularly productive, going 5-5 with no saves and 53 relief appearances. But will be interesting to see what happens to him once that injury is diagnosed. But otherwise, just about everybody is healthy as we get ready for the playoffs. So we are going to call this episode a wrap, and we'll be back in our next episode with the wild card game and hopefully a long playoff run after that, and then a recap of the 2030 season. Will be very interesting to see what ownership ultimately thinks of us after this season. You can see goal is to win the championship. We're in the red there. We made the playoffs. Hopefully we can go on a long run over the next few weeks. Have not upgraded first base to their satisfaction, and we certainly have not cut payroll. We are over $76 million over where they want us to be next year. The only positive thing is that we have increased attendance for what that's worth, but that's a 2032 goal. So we may not even be around to see that one come to fruition. We have the highest payroll in baseball against management and ownership's goals and hopes. But we also have no money left for extensions right now because we are so far over where they want us to be in payroll. So some players, notably catcher Francisco Alvarez, have been asking us to sign them to extensions. Certainly would love to do that with Alvarez, but right now we don't actually have any money to do that with. So it will be an interesting offseason when we get there, but hopefully we still have a long postseason run ahead of us before that happens. We will see what happens in our next episode. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you have a great day.